Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and Miss. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
Ooh, sorry about that. What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
Well, you know, it's funny you say no sodium takes. I mean, it's cute because last week it was hard. I wasn't exercising in politeness,
and we still
niceness.
Got cream for it.
I think the last show we did good.
I think we did good too.
Yeah, I think we did. The
first one still got crushed for it.
The last one?
Yeah.
Dang. I need to catch up on the comments. Maybe not. Yeah, so you know, I just want to apologize to you guys, you know, because we're a little late, but today is because I'm a full-time worker, full-time dad. Check some homework before I came in, and I'm a part-time curmudgeon, you know, so I'm only a curmudgeon when it comes to this team here. So I guess, you know, that's the only salt that I might have, but I don't foresee any salt today. You guys let me know if it's really salty, but I don't think it's going to be. But it's 40 keys anyway.
Hey, yo, producer.
My monologue was too long.
Oh, yeah. Hey, producer in the building.
There he is.
All right. Good. Okay. Look, we got a great show lined up for you guys today. Let's just start with stuff we heard. And we'll see where we go. I mean, we usually end up with reading a bunch of comments and stuff like that anyway, but I want to let a few more people get into the room before we just start going into main topic stuff.
I don't even know what the main topic is. That's what I love about the show.
Get that live reaction.
I go see what time you put on there for the time the show starts.
Yep.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. All right, whatever that means. I have no idea what this means. So we're going to find out today. But yeah, so, you know, you can take this for what it is. Maybe this is salt or not, but we're going to start early. Sean Merriman tweeted, I don't know if you saw it or not. I think I might have sent it to you, but basically what he did was he said going out there and playing for the Bills was probably one of the best experiences of my life. Merriman reflected on to Kay Adams on Up in Adams Monday. I wish every player got a chance to go out there and feel that and see that. Joey's going to see it, and it feels like you're playing for family. It's the craziest thing ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, when you go on Instagram, you go on Twitter, you can see who likes stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Diva liked it. Mr. Stefan Diggs. Nobody said anything. Mr. Stefan Diggs liked it. Playing in front of Buffalo Bills fans was nice. You know, and for everything and the thing is, like, why is nobody talking about that? Now, if he would have liked something when James Cook put some eyes, or he would have liked something when somebody says, you know, this, that, and third, we would have heard all about it. It would have been on GR, it would have been on every podcast, Know the Man. But you know, when you like something positive and people don't like you, it gets swept under the rug. And I just want to know, can we keep it consistent? Can we just either talk about it or not?
I mean, look, I think the healthier portion of that equation is talking about it always.
I do too. I really think that you're right. Obvious sports report, don't be salty key. I don't think I'm going to be. I don't feel anything at all. Ooh, vinegar. Who got the fries? Anybody got the fries?
Yeah, some salt and vinegar on some fries, man.
There you go. Yeah.
True.
Uncle Boosh used to do that. But yeah, by the way, what's up, everybody? Spin, Kev, Roy, Walter, Mafia Sports, Tom, everybody, all 342 of you. Even if you haven't said hi to me, I'm saying hi to you. Let's see. You got anything now, or you want me to go again?
So look, I think one of the things we need to get out of the way first.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr's retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is just a 1-year deal? He's just retiring because he knows he's going to be out next year, and this is kind of his way of alleviating some cap issues for the Saints? Or do you think this is it for him? Because the reports are saying it's a degenerative rotator cuff issue. But, I mean, if the doctor says to him, yo, you probably still got another, 2-3 years left in you, and he wants to play one more, Could he come back?
I don't, how old is he now? 33 or so, 34.
Let's find out.
I mean, he could be testing. It seems
34.
That's the thing to do these days. Test out.
Yeah.
Am I good? Am I ready to leave? Am I ready to call it quits? Am I ready to hang them all up? I'm not ready yet. Who wants me? I'm coming back. But I think when you're retired, especially if it's a shoulder issue, it depends on the pain. I don't know what he's going through. Obviously, the team he was playing for was not going to be winning this year.
Definitely not.
So that could be part of it, but I don't think he's going to be back. I thought he was pretty much done a couple of years ago. Maybe because he played for the Saints, but I thought that they could do better and move on. I expect better from that team, especially as early as next year.
Okay. So where that, and I know we're kind of getting off the Bills a little bit, but I think this is reflective on next year's draft, so to speak, because we are going to go into next offseason with some offensive needs for sure. Connor McGovern's not going to be here.
Running back.
Running back if we don't resign Cook.
Running back.
Okay, fine. Running back no matter what. We may be looking for another tight end. You know what I mean? We may be looking for another left tackle. So realistically, the Saints quarterback room, do you think they just go with the worst guy they have and just tank, or do you see this as we're still going to try to win games and go that road?
They're going to tell you that. They're going to say it. Of course, they're going to say we're still competitive. We're still trying to win games. We're trying to be butts in seats. We're trying to be relevant. But no, I think they'll go with whoever the young cat is or whoever they think may have a chance and give him a tryout basically and see where it goes from there. If he's terrible, no harm, no foul. We know what we got. We're gonna move on. If he's pretty good, or we do the Taysom Hill route again. I don't know what they're doing, man. So
that brings me to this question, and this is kind of where I was trying to get to, because I thought about this when it came to Josh Allen. If Josh had gotten hurt like Derek Carr and needed to miss the season, would you prefer the Bills just pack it in and take all the L's they can and get a high pick for the next season to add to the team, or would you prefer that they still go out and try to win as much as they can with the pieces they have?
I'm glad you said Josh, because for me, the biggest scuffle that I have internally, and people know this about me, is the backup quarterback. If Josh goes down, I want to know. Right, I want to know who the backup quarterback is. I want to know, what do we have? Is Trubisky really washed? Is Mike White better than I think? Is Bussell? Never mind that one. What are they going to do? So whoever wins that competition to me is going to be the backup for Josh when he comes back.
Right.
And I would love to have, because Josh is 30 or 29 going on 30 and get married and all this stuff. And you never know what happens when you start having different responsibilities, newlywed. You gotta you have to acquiesce sometimes to what the wife or the whatever needs. And you can't always be about this. Well, even though you say you can, the truth.
Right.
So I think especially when it comes to the preparation, somebody that can get in there and say, you know what, I was at home watching this and this is what I saw. I know you know how to dissect it, but this is what you need to know what they're gonna do. So I think by getting somebody in there with the light, and that's why I like the Trubisky signing a lot, because Trubisky had the starting experience and he's seen a lot. Even though he wasn't that great, he's seen everything, so he could sit there and say, Josh, all right, when I played, this is what I did when I saw it, or when I tried, or what our coaches said, because
it won't take him long to figure out. He's probably going to have to scramble 70% of the time.
He's going to be out of there.
But throw some screen passes and scramble the whole way down to the end zone.
But I like that. I like the concept, the thought of actually having a viable backup. And I don't need Josh to get hurt to find him, but I wish that they would have a reason or have some kind of urgency to find that guy.
Yeah. You know what? It's probably a Madden mentality if you're honest with yourself, thinking that you don't really need anybody behind them. And if you do, well, then you're just gonna have to take your lumps anyway, because you've already invested so much in the starter. Look, what's your philosophy? Well, you kind of given your philosophy on backups. Is that your philosophy across the board as far as starters and backups at quarterback, or is it situation specific with the Bills?
It's funny you asked that, because I actually watched an episode of Dan Mitchell's podcast.
Okay.
And I never do that. But today I said, you know what? Let me see what's going on.
Right.
So I think it was from maybe Thursday or Friday, but it still remains. And this is perfect what you asked, because what he said was the Bills have, he likened, stay with me here because I know you don't agree, but he said Christian Benford in Madden is a 90. I know he said I know he's not, but he's a 90. Don't give me a 58 as a backup. And for me, he said, I want a 70. Give me that 70 as a backup. And for me, yeah, that's what I would like. I don't need, when you say I want to know what the backup is for Josh, Josh is 98, we'll say I don't need a 96, but don't give me a 48. Don't give me, if all three of our tight ends got hurt right now, we have Reed Ferguson as our only listed tight end. And on Madden, he's a 38. I can't do nothing with that. Just give me Alec Anderson. He played tight end. What can he do?
Right.
And I think to answer your question, because of how many quarterbacks get to play at a time, I think I have a different philosophy for quarterbacks. But for the rest of the team, yeah, I want to focus on the backups as well, because you never know when they're called to action, especially in Buffalo where they rotate so much, where they have so much dependability on the next man up.
Yeah, my philosophy would be the same. I guess I might. So I come at it from this perspective. And really, for me, this is with every position, right? I think this is part of the reason why I do like this draft class so much for this specific reason, which is, and I know a lot of people watching this are like,
you like something? Turn it up.
Somebody hit the record button right now. We got to use this against them in the future. But I think part of the reason I like it so much is because when I'm building my Madden team, right, I would prefer if my backup quarterback was in 83. You know what I mean? Because to me, that gives me a few options in terms of moving things around that I need to move around in case something happens. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I want that at every position is if I have a backup, let's just say all of my second stringers are 83 overall, right? At any given point in time, if my starter gets injured, I got a guy that I know when he gets in, he's already at an average to slightly above average level, right? Because of his pedigree, right? So once he gets in there, all of the action that he's seeing, all of the playing time that he's getting is all adding to his repertoire and adding to his own book of notes of different things that are going to make him that much better, that much faster, right? But here's the other part when it comes to backup quarterbacks. It's hard for all 32 teams to have great quarterbacks all at the same time. So at some point, somebody might be doing a little bit better than they anticipated during the season, and they might think, man, if we can get some improvement at the quarterback position, let's oh, you just moving the curtain. Let's go ahead and get a quarterback in here or get somebody better and take some snaps. Now I get it. Teams don't usually do that during the regular season, but I think that's why it's just my philosophy across the board. I'd rather have somebody that I can trade to improve a certain locker room, a position locker room, position room, or if I feel I need to get better because there's another team threatening me and they're very good, like for the Bengals, like I would want at least 83. I would want 83 being my worst corner, because at any given time I need to have guys on the field that can cover one of those two guys at least an average level, right? But with the quarterback position, what makes it so hard here, and this is where everybody's going to start hating me again, I'm sorry, but
can't go whole show.
Right. What makes that difficult here is if you have a backup quarterback that's a 70 overall, that looks great in practice, but in a game situation where the reason that you've been winning at such a high clip is because of your all-time great superstar, greatest of all time quarterback. When you go to a 70, now you have to have all the ancillary pieces around you play at almost a Josh Allen level in order for the whole team to still win at a similar clip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean I agree 100%. But my thing with that is, when you think about the 70 quarterback, you think about, and I'm not coming to what you're saying, because I hear it, and the way the team is constructed, you're right. But that's why I scream about the construct the way I do, because we're talking about, as long as you got Josh Allen, it doesn't work that way, because you have, I'll say Tyrell. What if you have Tyrell Shavers and KJ Hamler and Jalen Virgil out there?
Yeah.
Because everybody else got hurt. What are you getting?
Right.
You got Josh, so we should be able to win because we got Josh, I thought. But when you got those guys, no, it doesn't work that way. So I want people to kind of pull themselves away from the as long as we got Josh, we're winning, and figure out, no, you still need Josh to have weapons. You still need things for the line. You still need a running back. I'm not saying it's Cook, but you still need certain things, because this isn't basketball. You just take over by yourself,
right?
Or hockey or anything like that, where you just,
even though Josh is probably the closest thing to a basketball player taking over a game there is.
In football, it's like you can't even compare, because they don't play defense.
Well, yeah,
that's the thing. And you had Jordan, you had Kobe, you got LeBron, who just like, you know what, we're not doing good today. I'm about to put on. I'm going on both ends. I'm gonna smack that. We're gonna come back down here. I'm gonna dunk over here. He missed it.
I know. What's going on?
But yeah, no, it's when you're talking about your 83s and stuff like that. And if you have a 70, what if this team is built for a West Coast offense? We'll say. And that 70 is actually good at West Coast, but he can't run, or he can't can't run a play action. So that drops your grade a lot.
Yeah.
But see, when you got, I'm going mad, which now see.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, look, the piece with the pieces we have, that would almost be perfect,
right?
But for some reason, they've been running a lot of this. A lot of this offense has been based around the idea of efficiency. They're still running vertical routes
that they don't really care about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
and that's Joe Brady's wheelhouse. Like, I think everybody knew that's where he came from. That's what he learned and studied under with Sean Payton, his vertical route game. What?
Zuzu said, Cook, he can't read or write.
Dang. Are you saying that because of how you play poker? That's cold, bro. That is cold.
That is malice.
Yeah, you got to explain that one. That is all salt, bro. That is, man.
Anybody come at us after that?
Yeah.
Nah.
No, Tommy's like eggs.
I know, right? You get a pass. Positive. But yeah, no, I'm sorry about
that. No, it's cool. I forgot what I was saying. I did want to get to this question that Tommy was asking earlier, because I know this is your guy. CJ Mosley. He said PFF pegged linebacker CJ Mosley as a free agent that Buffalo should sign. What are your thoughts?
I love CJ Mosley, but I don't know why we would get him. I don't know what he doesn't fit a role in our defense at all, because he can't cover. He goes, everything is forward, everything is downhill, which I love. That's the kind of linebacker I enjoy. Yeah. But in this system, they like the smaller guys that's rangy side to side, coverage, can drop in zone, and he's not that. So for that reason, this is another mind screw for me, how they built this team, because Dorian Strong, not great in zone, great in man. Max Harrison, he's his own player, but you got Benford. But then you got, so are we trying to do man? Are we trying to do zone? Because I think we're still doing zone.
Mm-hmm.
But see, my thing is, okay, now where the pieces to play it? You got Dorian Williams who's not dropping back. They can try to make him,
right?
But that's not his thing, and you really don't have a nickel, because you have Cam Lewis, who, as you said in your point about the 83s, when Taron Johnson goes out, Cam Lewis comes in, he's cool, but he gets exposed sometimes.
Exactly.
So, like, once you go from that 90, or as Dan Mitchell said, that 98 to that 58, it's a big difference. And that's how they live in a vacuum where we have to always be healthy. Right. Or you got to have Josh come out of the tent when he's not good to be good to play. Or
even though he took a nap on the field.
He took
right. Josh.
No.
No, don't start to play without me. Don't start to play without me.
I turned in my homework assignment. What? Where we at? Buffalo? How'd I get here?
Trubisky's about to snap the ball. You need to get out there.
No.
Right, pour water on it.
Where the smell of salt at?
Yeah. Tommy said he would have liked Tannehill as a backup. What do you think about that?
I could roll with that. Tannehill was the kind of guy that I was hoping that Trubisky was going to turn out to be. Not great, but just level enough. Tannehill's always been level.
Yeah.
You know, he's never been excellent. He's been a Pro Bowler every once in a while, but he's never been an all-star. Somebody that's like, oh man, we're afraid of Tannehill. You know, he could beat you if you let him.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really it's kind of weird because this system fits Trubisky in college, but not a lot of what he was asked to do in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it actually fits more of what Tannehill does from the RPO standpoint. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the screen stuff behind efficient, like he was great in that when he played in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they had so much success. They had a great downfield threat in AJ Brown. They had the king, you know, behind them taking sucking up the dang it.
Oh man.
Pause.
Oh.
As soon as it left my lips, I already knew. Dang it. You got the king bringing up the safeties, you know, so it just the system kind of worked. I think, my opinion, I would have liked to have Tannehill over Trubisky. I've just seen Tannehill have more success in the NFL. Yeah. But realistically, the backup position has been relegated to Josh's friends, and I don't mean that in a negative way. You're the starting quarterback, and you know you're going to start every game, and you have since you got in the NFL. Do what you got to do, man. You know, bring who you want to bring in. Just make sure you're ready. You know. Tommy trying to draw blood, man.
And it's funny. You know what's funny about that? I actually was like,
you would take it?
I was actually like, is he a backup? Because he kind of is, but he never really was. Because when he came in, he took EJ Manuel's spot right away. And then he kind of just started the rest of the time. So as a backup, as that guy, like I said, if we had somebody that was like here and just level, I guess Thaddeus Lewis. No.
Thaddeus Lewis.
And I thought about Tyrod. Actually, I was running through the list. I mean, just what year was that when we had like 7 of them because everybody got hurt? Thad Lewis included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Tyrod probably would be the one I would say.
Wow.
You thought you had me, didn't you, Tommy? You thought you had me. All truth, no sodium.
You thought he was gonna cause a spin moment over here.
Nope.
Hey, real quick, shout out to Heel Turn Merch, man. He sent us some shirts. I got the Josh Allen joint on right now.
Are you wearing it? Oh,
I'm rocking my joint, man.
I didn't know you had it on. I just
yeah. Put it over the keys real quick. Yeah. Listen, 100% cotton too. For those of y'all that don't know, if it ain't 100% cotton, you realistically you're doing your body a disservice, right? So my wife was doing some research and she found out that different fabrics. Geez, my English is terrible today. Different fabrics have different frequencies, right? That's a real thing. Y'all can go look that up.
I'm still not grounding.
I don't know why you're not. I mean, your boy Matt Collins told you all the different reasons why you needed to.
He did,
right? But yeah, so 100% cotton is the best fabric you can have on your body. It gives all the frequencies that bring life to your cells and your tissues and all that kind of stuff. That's just what it is, right? But to get to his comment here, he says, for whatever reason, I think having a backup that has had success as a starter as an injury jinx. Really? He said, keep any former starter away from Josh. How often have we seen that?
What, former starters with Josh?
Yeah. I mean, well, obviously it's got to be enough to, people think it's a jinx, but I mean, like here, like I don't think we've had anybody that was starter level per se.
Yeah, let's face it. We had what? Matt Barkley. We had who was just talking about Trubisky. We had White, Bussell. Who else was there before? Tyler Thigpen was way before. Who else do we have? Peterman. No, we haven't had. I mean, Trubisky's probably the only one. Yeah, he's the only one that we've had as really a starter
because he started somewhere else. But
yeah, I was gonna do that. You got to coordinate. No, you can't just stop there. Not with the kind. You got to coordinate.
What? I missed it.
He said mushroom shirt and belt from Boomerang. He said, Jarrell, you know your dad got a mushroom shirt on? He's like, I know. And he's like, but I can't stop there. He had to. the inside of his jacket too. He said, "You can't stop there either." But I would have stopped there. No. I was trying to impress you, so I got the belt. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay. Look, this is where I get lost every single time. Every single time. When Key and Max start going in on movies, I just sit back and watch. All right, y'all go ahead. Because there's no way I'm remembering that many lines from that many movies.
Oh yeah, it's
no
sad.
way.
It's sad. It's sad.
Y'all be quoting stuff in the text. I'll just be like,
yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna let this play out.
Go ahead and put my phone down. It's gonna vibrate 17 more times, and then I'll just read through everything because I am not gonna have any idea what the heck they're talking about.
I have nothing to add. That's how I am when y'all start talking about GMs of other teams. I'm like, okay, phone down.
Right. Yeah, now I know what it feels like.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So look, I think we got enough people in here to get on topic. I think. But
if they came in on the mushroom shirt, it might diminish. I don't know.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I think we lost like 3 people.
Stay with us now.
I'm kidding.
Stay with us.
Okay, so here's the deal, right? I saw this report, and I want to read you the quote from the report from James Cook. He was at a poker game. And I guess he's been getting into these poker tournament rather, and he's been getting into these poker tournaments to kind of develop his game and all that kind of stuff. And look, more power to him. You learn by doing, right? He was asked about his contract situation, right? And he said, however it works out, it works out. I mean, I just make sure the business is a business and just do whatever I can to always be there for my teammates. And however it works out, it works out. And then we go play football. Says here, he was then asked about a possible holdout. He said, I necessarily don't want to talk about it right now because it's something now. I'm sorry. He said, it's something I want to hold in to myself. Just let the business take care of the business.
Mm-hmm. And before you go further.
Yep.
Zul, we appreciate you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you for showing up.
That was probably really loud. I apologize if that was loud.
Well, not nobody has eardrums. They won't hear the rest of the show.
Well,
but at least they got to hear somebody appreciates us before they go deaf.
They can see it. Hopefully, all of you can read lips. But yeah, thank you very much, Zuzu.
No, we appreciate you.
So here's why I thought this was interesting. When I looked at, I was sitting there and I was trying to think of what kind of thumbnail I wanted to create around this, right? And then I found the thumbnail I ended up using, and I started researching connections to poker terms or phrases and things like that, and I came across a term called river rat. Do you know what a river rat is?
I've heard it. I don't remember. I don't remember what it is, but I've heard it.
Okay, so a river rat is in poker. A river rat is a term used to describe a player who frequently wins a hand by improving their hand on the river card, often against the odds after having played weaker cards in earlier betting rounds. Now, the reason this term is so important is in poker, the river card is the last card that gets laid down after the last round of betting. So this card is like the all or nothing card, right? And if you're a river rat and you're constantly winning in the most crucial of moments in a poker game, when the last card is laid down after all the last bets are taken, to me, that's a pretty amazing thing to be. Right, it's the equivalent of being known as a clutch quarterback in the playoffs in football, right? Now, what stuck out with all of this to me and the connection that I made to it, you all can tell me if you agree with this or not. And I promise you, this is leading into what James Cook said too. But James Cook should be known as a river rat or the river rat of football, right? Now, the reason I say that is because what was his percentage of carries in college, right? What was his percentage of carries in the NFL so far, right? When you look at the opportunities that this man was given, it's not the same as an Ashton Jeanty. It's not the same as some of these other second round running backs that get to go in there and just start for the team in general. It's not like any of these late round running backs like Arian Foster that just get in there and run the ball all the time and they become the star and they become the guy first, like to start because they get the volume to start.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you look at the production that he's had with that limited amount of opportunity, both in college and in the pros, you have to call him that. I don't think there's any way around it. You can't deny what else would you call? You know what I'm saying? What else would you call him? So the reason that I think all of that is important is because there's and I don't play poker, right? But I know that there's a level of strategy and counting cards and all that kind of stuff that goes into it. And I think even though James Cook is just kind of launching his poker adventure, his poker endeavor to become a great poker player.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he's done in terms of positioning himself in the NFL is probably one of the better jobs that a guy with that limited amount of opportunity could ever have done. Right? I can't remember the last time a guy came in getting 40% of the snaps, 30% of the snaps, and putting up this kind of production. Right? Now, here's where it gets interesting. You got a guy who was so open at the start of the offseason, demanding a certain number of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't the first time that we've seen something like this happen with the Buffalo Bills, where a player has demanded, a larger amount of money or has made some comments about his contract situation publicly, right? But what happened before? What happened before was eventually that player starts to quiet down,
mm-hmm.
right? And based on that player's value, they either get a contract done the following year or they get let go. All right. Now, I know that sounds real binary. It sounds very, okay. But look at this. If you look at what the Bills have said this whole entire time, we love James Cook. We expect them to come back. All of these different things that speak to them holding James Cook in a very what's the word I'm looking for? In a very favorable manner, right? I think all of this really points to thank you, Ronaldo.
Oh, Ronaldo.
Appreciate that, my man. I think all of this really points to they might actually get this deal done. Right. And I think it might be for a lot more than people expected to be. Now, here's why. When you look at the market for running backs, how can a GM or a franchise justify going below market at running back when now your rookie scale for running backs has gone up?
Mm-hmm.
Right. On top of that, the free agent market scale for running backs has also gone up. So there is no more of this, well, we're just going to try to find the lowest number and try to stay as close to that because that's what the market dictates. There's no more of that. Like the running back community as a whole has decided we're going to up our value and we're going to do it in a big way. And they did. Right. And so I think we're seeing this slow progression towards the median for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Buffalo Bills, realistically, if they want to be known as a franchise that continues to pay their own, this is a guy that helps that conversation.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And for James Cook's side, if he's able to get a deal done that may not be for $20 million next year, but it's for 13, that's still a win for both sides because the Bills did not pay him 15. And next year, the salary cap is supposed to take another big jump, which means salaries are supposed to take another big jump, which means 15 or the equivalent to 15 this year is actually going to be 20 million next year. So 13 is actually a much better deal next year than it would have been this year. Right? I think a lot of us were saying 10 million. We'd be okay with 10 million with incentives.
Somebody in the contract said 9 million including incentives, and that's just not going to happen. That's not going to happen anywhere because Ashton Genty's at 8 million, 8.6 right now.
Right.
So no, your James Cook jersey would be on clearance. Yes, I'll buy it.
Yeah, you probably should.
But yeah, I mean, let's keep it in context here. Cook was at 50% of his snaps last year, and the year before that he was at 56%. So yes, it's not high, but let's not act like they run 30%, like a third or whatever. And let's not act like the other teams in the league don't run a running back by committee. That's something that we have to establish as well. The same way they rotate the defensive line is the same way they rotate the running backs. The same way that it is what it is. Do they have to? No. I think I don't remember who said it. Was somebody in the comments said at 190. I think it might have been Roy at 190. Could he run 70% of snaps? Absolutely, absolutely. But see, the thing is, you have to be creative. Not because he can't do it, but when you look at McCaffrey doesn't run 60% of the time. He's receiving. He's out there in running routes.
Yeah.
They don't do that with James Cook either. He's running. He might run a what do you call it? A hot route. But for the most part, if he's not running, they're going to bring in Ty Johnson to block.
Yep.
And they're not going to put him in the slot when you didn't have anybody besides Shakir in the slot anyway.
Right.
You got to be. That's what James Cook's whole thing when he started with the Bills was you can use him all over the place. He lines up as a wide receiver. They don't do that. He lines up, but they go ahead and get Deontay Hardy for what? You had James Cook right there. You like Devin Singletary more, so you had him as your running back. Find a way to get your second round draft pick on the field.
Yep.
And it took. Everybody says he just came on last year. No, he hit the ground running as soon as he became a starting running back. He was a 1,000-yard guy. He didn't get the touchdown because Josh was doing everything inside the 5 because James was too small. Because they said he couldn't run inside the 5. What did he do last year? 16 touchdowns. Inside the 5, he had, I think, about 8 or 9 of them. Right. So what does this tell you? It tells you that put another wall up and see if he'll knock it down. This is not a prove it. He's proven enough. He's proven enough to get a deal. And this is not because I'm a Cook fan. Yes, I am a Cook fan, but that's not why I say this. I say this because what else do you want him to do? Because everything you said he couldn't do, he showed he could do. The first year, he drops everything. He fumbles. What did he do last year? Not that. And they say he didn't get touchdowns. He couldn't run inside the 5. What do you do? He did it. So what do you want to do this year? You want to try him at 60, 70% of snaps? Go ahead. Because I can tell you right now, Derrick Henry he had 55% of snaps last year.
Yeah.
55. Only 5% more than James Cook. But that's the number 2. You talk about Saquon, who was at 74, and Derrick Henry was at 55. And that's who we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's get to this comment. Big Papa Bill says James Cook wouldn't be the player he is on any other team. Facts. Let me offer this. Okay. Would anybody venture to say that Zach Moss is better than James Cook? I wouldn't. Right. For those of you who were able to see Zach Moss play in Cincinnati, when he did tote the rock in Cincy, he was a top 10 fantasy back in terms of his production.
And in Indy. When Jonathan Taylor got hurt, he was a guy.
I had him both times.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, if Zach Moss can go out and be productive for another team when given more opportunities, because let's face it, he got way more out of an opportunity in Indy and in Cincy than he ever did here in Buffalo, and he flourished with it. I'm sorry, James Cook with more opportunity on another team that's allowing him to just tote the rock, 20 times a game. I'm sorry. I don't know how anybody could justify that he wouldn't be productive on another team. We've seen another Buffalo Bills running back go out and do it.
Might be better in a different system. I mean, you got to think about it. Maybe what if the Bills are using them too rigidly? What if they have no creativity? That's what you got to think about. James Cook behind his line, okay, fine. But why is it that Josh Allen make the line, but when James Cook plays the line, Josh Allen ain't got nothing to do it when James Cook got the ball in his hands? But I mean, come on now. You're talking about the offensive line, but it's only great when James Cook is there, but it sucks when Josh is there. Make it make sense.
Yeah. We've seen, and here's where I think the leverage comes in. We've seen James Cook evolve year after year, right? Because his first year, it was all about his breakaway speed and his ability to maneuver through open space and kind of juke guys or not give guys a clean angle to tackle them, right? And he evolved from that in his rookie season to his sophomore season, where he had a much bigger opportunity to run the ball, and he did much better running in between the tackles than he did the year before.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't hesitate as much. He would do the little Fred Jackson turn if he needed to or whatever, but his vision got much better at that level with more opportunities. And then you go to year 3, and the big improvement for year 3, thank you all. The big improvement from year 2 to year 3 was seeing the contact balance be established.
Yeah.
Right. Because he actually would look for contact to finish runs throughout this third season of his. Right. And that to me makes it makes all the difference, because when this is one of the things that I've talked about with Sean McDermott. If I can't see incremental improvement, then to me, something is off. You either think you're already good and you don't need to change anything, or you're not good enough to make those improvements. But we've seen James Cook do that. And we've also seen how James Cook performs in the biggest of games. And he performs like the biggest of players in the biggest of games. So, again, I think that's his leverage. You have a player that has now put on tape in at a national level that he can perform in the biggest moments. And he can make plays in the biggest moments on top of the performance that he had that year. Listen, it's not just us looking at the percentage of carries that he's gotten. It's not just us.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that the Buffalo Bills pro scouting department goes and looks at all the statistics for all these guys that they bring in, like a Micah Hyde, like a Jordan Poyer, like a Rasul Douglas, the same way they go and scout and look at all the numbers for guys like that, other teams are looking at James Cook and they're going to see those numbers and they're going to see way more value in that than we do right now. So to me, thank you, Ronaldo. I appreciate that, my man.
Yes,
so to see what he's put on wax, I just look, what I would like to happen. And this is a no sodium moment for all 1,446 people currently watching 1447.
I must say you missed one.
This is a real no sodium moment. If you are simply saying that James Cook should not be paid because he's a running back and the position itself has been shown to be replaceable in this new era of passing football, or the league focusing more on enhancing the passing game, I understand how you got there. What I would like for everybody who is coming from that perspective to do is to incorporate into that thought process the objectivity of it's a cyclical league, right? It ebbs and flows. So when everything is going passing, you're gonna see defenses get smaller and faster because everything is focused on passing, right? But once there are so many teams in the league that are going small and fast on defense because all the teams are passing, or the best teams in the league are passing, there's gonna be somebody who thinks to themselves, man, there's all these small defensive players. You know, it'll be really successful against those dudes if we just bull rush right through them. Just run right over them. They small. We push them to the side and we get through. We be physical, right? Now here comes the next wave, which is exactly what we're seeing now. Teams are starting to run the ball more. Why? Because there's all these smaller, faster defensive linemen on the field. You got 6'2", 250-pound defensive ends out there. Let me put a tight end and a left tackle out there on him, and I'm gonna make some space.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
I'm gonna chip with that tight end. That tight end is gonna go and grab the running back and take care of him. And now all of a sudden, I got a nice little sweep. I'm good, right? So, again, I don't want to come off as me trying to force my thought process down everybody's throat. All I'm saying.
Pause.
All right. I don't know of another way to say it, but
Just move on.
Yeah, okay.
He said this. Just move on. Dang, Columbus Bully, you really, man. 17 mil guaranteed over 5 years. You're giving them $3 million a year guaranteed.
Wow,
That's
cold, bro.
Yeah, that's real cold. So 10 million with $3 million guaranteed. That's tough. But yeah, I mean, this is the part that gets me when Columbus Blue say, yo, when people talk about this person wouldn't be good there, this person would be good there. Who cares about there?
Mm-hmm.
You see what he did here.
Yep.
And do I not know that is Brady going somewhere? Is Josh going somewhere? Is Spencer going? Is Khalil?
That's a good point.
I mean, who's going somewhere? So why does it matter where he would be there? Are you telling me right now you hated every moment of what he gave you the last 2 years? If the answer is yes, then you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely 100%. But if the answer is no, the answer is that I cheered for him when he got those touchdowns, when he broke away against San Francisco, when he ran the guy over in Kansas City. You can't make the argument he's not complete. You can't make the argument he's not good. You can't make the argument that he's less than, because you liked him what he did for us. And we're building for us. We're not building for nobody. I don't care what anybody does anywhere else. I hope you go somewhere else and spit on your head. Don't care.
Right.
And I think that's where the disconnect with me and Bills fans are, because I put the team over the player, and I don't really have alliances with one person. I know James Cook, it seems like that's my one person, but I don't have alliances with one guy. My thing is, running back seems to have a shorter shelf life. Can't blame a guy for trying to get his bag, whether it's here. Exactly. I don't blame him, because somebody's going to pay him, maybe not 15 mil.
Yeah.
But he's going to get 12 to 13.
Yeah. But the other part of this is the reason running backs have such a short shelf life is because the guys who come into the NFL right away, elite, the first round guys, they've already taken, 1,000 carries in college.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
James Cook didn't have anywhere near that. Like, I think that's the thing that everybody's missing is like, oh my God, he's already 25, 26. No, we got to let him go because he's going to fall apart. He has not had enough opportunities to get run down yet.
Yep.
This is a guy with so much tread on the tire, or as I like to say, so much meat on the tire.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
Come on.
I saw a shadow move. I said, yeah. It should have happened.
So now anytime we see the curtain kind of swish back and forth.
I didn't even see this curtain move. I just saw the mic move, the shadow of the mic. That was crazy. That was wild. Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, man. But like that to me is the biggest thing is like there are so many things that when you just kind of present it all out on a whiteboard, and maybe that's what we should do. Because it seems like every time we come with a point, somebody is saying, well, the running back position is short-lived. And then we gotta touch on that. But then somebody else comes and says, well, the league doesn't have to pay running backs that much because they're a dime a dozen. You can get one in the 7th round. Okay, well, if that's the case, why doesn't everybody have a starter?
Wait, can I do this?
Yes.
Because this is a perfect moment. When we say, don't want McDermott, tired of Beane, what do you say? Who you going to get, though?
Yeah.
Who you going to get, though? Tell me right now.
Yep.
Who is it going to be? I don't want to hear ifs and buts or the candy and nuts. I don't want none of that. I want to know who is it going to be.
There you go.
Don't say Ray Davis because he had a good game. What was it, the Jets game?
Yeah.
No, because
it's the one.
James Cook has more yards per attempt over expected, rushing yards over expected than anybody but Josh Allen. And I think Ty Johnson is right by him, but Ty Johnson didn't carry the ball, but what, a fourth of as many times as James, a fifth? So that skews the numbers completely. So don't like him, but I mean, what do you want in a running back? I got a guy, my man, that I sent the show to. He says he wants a big back. Okay, James Cook is never going to be that. But what is it that you want him to do? Because we live in this muck, and I think it was Jerry Ostrowski, Joe Marino, that bunch, Jeremy. I'm sorry. They were talking about Josh and his dynamic with this team. See, the thing about Josh, people don't understand, is Josh is great because Josh doesn't do what he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do it. Josh is a freelancer. And what they're talking about Dalton Kincaid, why he fell apart, because Josh is off structure. He's off time. He doesn't play in timing. Kincaid needs timing, needs regiment, needs structure. That's why he doesn't get off like he's supposed to. Yeah. But when you talk about like a James Cook or somebody like that, you need somebody that's going to chip and get out there. You need a Keon Coleman who's going to find an open space when the play breaks down, because it's going to break down. That's why Shakir was so great, because Josh said, you know what? If a play breaks down, I scramble someone right. Shakir's down there somewhere. He just launches it. And those are those wild plays where he's falling out of bounds, and they have these stupid stats about how he has the most yards in the league inside 1 yard from. Who cares? But the point is, what do you need from your quarterback? You got ancillary pieces for your quarterback, and you finally have a couple. You have Shakir. You need to lock them up. Somebody in here said, I forget who it was, but they said, how do you word? He said they'll spend all this money on the defense that can't stop a nosebleed, but you can't pay James Cook.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot of times in the comments.
to the point of, oh yeah, Tommy, I'm not saying he's AP. I'm not, but what I'm saying is in this offense, he's better than your guy.
Well, we can put all this to bed right now with this. Like, this is not us saying this.
Mm-hmm.
His 2025 market value is estimated around 10 to 14 million per year. This is based on his performance and the current running back market. So the people who do this for a living are telling the NFL that his market value is closer to 14 to 15 million than it is the 9 that is reported the Bills wanted to pay him.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, if Cook is making 9 million as a fourth-year player and he's only making 1 million more than what Ashton Jeanty comes into the league making, how disrespectful is that to Cook, who's put in the time and the work and the production?
Okay, somebody, who was it? Somebody said, Columbus. He said top 3 pay is crazy. He's not asking for top 3 pay. I mean, think about it. He wants 15, but that's not a cap hit. He didn't say cap hit. Like you just said, you want to give him $3 million a year for the contract. Let's not do it. Let's knock that down and be realistic and say 9, 10. We'll say guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the list, Jonathan Taylor's 15-3. Cap hit. Derrick Henry 12-8. Josh Jacobs 11-3. Alvin Kamara 10. Joe Mixon 9-4. DeAndre Swift 9-3. Now there's a guy that doesn't play all the time. Tony Pollard 8-4.
Yep.
So I mean, it's not top 3, and that's this year.
We haven't heard Pollard's name in how many years now?
Since he left,
at least 2.
left Dallas.
Yeah.
But that's this year. If you extrapolate that to 2026, Alvin Kamara is 18.6. Kamara. You got Aaron Jones 16-4. Jonathan Taylor 15-5. Josh Jacobs 14-6. Joe Mixon 10-5. James Conner 10. Saquon Barkley 9. This is why they're asking for the money he's asking for. 10 million, we'll say a year, 11 million, because as the years go by, he's going to start getting further and further from the top. See, what people don't realize is you see Josh Allen. No, I didn't prove your point out. Quite the contrary, because this is a cap hit. His 15 is not a cap hit. His 15 is his total salary. His cap hit is 9.
Yep, that's
the point. So
yeah, I mean, just like Josh's. Like I'll tell you right now. So here's. Again, this is why we have to do the research and not just take, you know, the news or Brandon Beane's word for it. Like Josh Allen's cap number this year is 36 million. Do you know what his base salary is?
It's low.
It's 1.25 million.
Yep.
That's his base salary. That's what's guaranteed. I'm sorry, that's not what's guaranteed. Well, yeah, essentially it's all guaranteed, because what they did is they converted 35 million into a signing bonus that he gets at the beginning of the season, right? And then his game checks from that point out for all 17 weeks total out to 1.25 million, right? So realistically, on the books, what's going to exist on the books is just the 2.5 million, because signing bonuses don't get counted towards the salary cap during the season.
I found something to your point with Josh Allen. It's funny, like you would think we talked about this before the show. I mean, you would think we playing this out, because the segues is crazy.
Nice.
But ESPN notes the market for a quarterback such as Josh Allen would have been 70 million annually. So Allen could have been making 15 million more per season over a 6-year span, which equals 90. So that 5 million he talked about is 90 million he left on the table.
Yeah,
90, because he wanted to keep the club, to keep giving them weapons.
Yep.
Keep, the word keep is what's throwing me. What's keep? Keep?
Continue to do over and again and again.
When did they start? Where are the weapons?
Well, they gave him James Cook.
Anybody let him go.
Let him walk out, right?
Everybody let him go.
No, look, that's a great point. And to drive this point home, Ed Oliver's got another one of the biggest contracts this season. His cap head is his base salary for this season is 1.17 million, right? He's got a signing bonus of 6 almost 6.1 million. It's
Mhm.
6,095,000. But look, that's when we talk about when you talked about if a $15 million contract with $9 million guaranteed, this is what we're talking about,
Mhm.
right? Give the guy a chance to earn those incentives, but don't just. I think everybody's assuming that because he said 15 million, it has to be 15 million flat guaranteed
Right.
across the board.
Right.
No running back is getting it very much guaranteed in his contract. I mean, even Saquon Barkley's contract is not all fully guaranteed. So we gotta transition from that thought. We gotta take a step back from the hard, no, we're not paying a running back, blah, blah, blah. It's about the weapons we're putting on the field with Josh.
Mhm.
As at the end of the day, this running game with James Cook at the helm of this running back committee has been the best run game that we've seen since Shady came here his first year.
Yep.
And I'm including everybody else that was here after that. I'm talking about Frank Gore. I'm talking about Devin Singletary, James Cook, and the guys that he's led in that locker room, in that position room, has been the best running game that we've had since LaShawn McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
I dare anybody to tell me I'm wrong, and really mean it with some factual evidence.
Yeah, they can't.
Statistically, it lines up. So, look, I don't want to kind of make this seem like I'm trying to force people to think what I think, but I'm also at the same time trying to get people to kind of see, like, you may not be as right as you think you are when it comes to this stance of you just don't pay a running back. Well, there's some running backs that do get paid, and there's some running backs that have that kind of value where you just give them the bag.
Yeah. Tommy's fighting a losing battle in there. He's fighting for his life.
Oh no.
We're not missing the point.
It's because the O-line.
We're not missing the point. Singletary, yes, that's Tommy's guy. Don't do it. But yeah, no. This is Dalvin Cook started the whole thing after AFC champ. Yeah, Dalvin Cook said 20 million. Everybody, I mean, come on now. James Cook said a long time ago.
The market is. This is why I brought that up. The market is telling y'all.
Yeah.
Google it.
No, you missed it. He was saying since Shady. So that would be in the McDermott era, not I don't even know when you're going back.
Okay. So Tommy is saying, how you ignoring the O-line?
We didn't.
Listen.
We didn't.
The O-line does what it's supposed to do. Right? It was rated as the fifth best offensive line in the league last year.
Top 5.
Right? So, and we've already talked about that. Whether it looks like it in the crucial moments when we need a QB sneak or something like that, and we can't get enough push. And I'm not trying to disrespect the offensive line by saying that, but to some degree, for an offensive line that's rated as the 5th best in the NFL, and we can't get more than one QB sneak in an AFC Championship game. To me, that's it's a little bit more about talent than it is scheme at that point, because I think the offensive line is good at playing the scheme that it has. I don't want that to be misconstrued. I'm not saying that the offensive line is bad, but when I'm looking at the offensive line's ability in key crucial moments to move people off of the line, James Cook is the best in the league at dealing with the least amount of yards before contact.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the statistics. That's proven. You can go look that up. That's not just me making that up. So I'm saying all that to say, if our running back has to deal with one of the worst yards before contact, does it go by percentage or is it just?
It goes by average. No, not percentage. Average.
The yards before contact average. Then I'm going to put more weight on the talent of the running back when he puts up the kind of production that he does than I am the offensive line. That's not to say that the offensive line didn't have something to do with it. But again, to me, it's more justifiable to say the running back had more to do with it than the offensive line did.
Yeah, there's a reason for Brady shifting to the run, not heavy, but more of a run centric the offense, and that's because he knows what he has in James Cook. And to Papa, you my guy. You're my guy. But you said he's got to get 1,500 yards to justify. You said Cook can't pass block and hasn't recorded 1,500 yards to justify 15 million a year. Do you know in the last 8 years, there's only been 9 running backs, Derrick Henry being 4 of them, to rush for 1,500 yards? I mean, it's only happened. It's happened 9 times, and Derrick Henry's 4 of them. So I mean, okay. I know you don't mean 1,500. I don't think you mean 1,500 like literally, but the point is, were we not 13? Did we not win 13 games?
Yeah.
Were we not the high-powered offense that scored 30 plus points a game?
Yeah.
Was James Cook not a big part of that?
Yes, he was.
How about since we revamped the defense, we rebuilt the defense, we made the defense better? How about we run it back with the offense?
No, we can't do that.
Well,
it only works.
It only works when it's cost friendly and all.
It only works one way, bro. Unfortunately,
you're right. So what am I? Why was I trying to hypothesize something? Never mind. No, but you know what?
Now you get it.
Yeah. Did you know the James Cook? Because I know the chat's ready to move on probably.
Yeah, I feel like it's time to move on.
They about to jack each other up. Did you happen to see the Embedded?
I started to watch part of it. I actually have a note on Maxwell Hairston that I need to find a positive way to convey.
Oh man,
it's not positive news, but I have to find a positive.
Is it from Embedded or no?
No, it's so. All right, I'll just say it before we start.
You say it. I'm gonna clean it up. Go ahead.
Okay, so based on some things that I've been hearing about Hairston, he deals with some of the same issues that Elam used to deal with when it comes to his ability to read and react fast enough, right? Both guys are 4.3 guys, tall, athletic, fast, smooth hips, all this smooth hip love that Hairston is getting because of the rookie.
Smooth hips.
First time I've actually heard him ask what I mean before he just goes straight to
he pulled the
curtain. I need to look you in the eyeball. What you talking about with these smooth hips?
Smooth hips. Chat, get on him. Get on him. He said smooth hips, y'all.
I didn't have to clean it up because he already got you.
Yeah. But
Papa,
yeah.
Thank you, Papa.
Oh, my man. Appreciate that, Big Papa. So yeah, I unfortunately, that was confirmed by one of the things that Brandon Beane actually said. And I don't think Brandon Beane knew what he was saying when he said it, but if you watch some of the post-draft coverage, I think there was an interview, it might have been a press conference he did where he talked about Max Hairston doesn't play at 4.2 speed, but he's that fast. Well, when you don't play at 4.2, but you run 4.2, what usually, and I think I've said this before, and a few people jumped in the comments and tried to slit my throat, but but usually, what that usually means is there's something going on upstairs that isn't allowing you to play at the speed that you can run, right? And look, whatever this means to everybody, I'm not saying Max is going to be the same as Elam. What I'm saying is coming into the league, he is known to be about the same, right? In terms of his ability to be on top of things. I'll just leave it at that, right? But the Bills believe that they can coach him up and get him through issues like that and get the best out of him. We have to see if they can do that. They weren't able to do it with Elam. This is them. It looks like this is them trying that avenue again to see if they can get it. Now, we have seen the Bills do stuff like this when they went with Rousseau and Basham. We're going to try to get one of these guys. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to get one of these guys, and one of them didn't work. They sent them out the door. Okay, cool. They sent Elam out the door. Let's see if Max Hairston can come in and do it. But just so everybody knows, that's kind of where we're starting off at right now.
I was gonna say I was enjoying the embedded. I was enjoying everything, leading up. Actually, it gives you a good perspective.
Okay.
They let you see what you want to see. Blah blah blah. But what really got me, and I wrote it in bold in my notes. I said the S word followed by 3 different exclamation points. He said the catchphrase. Let me explain this. For you guys that watched Embedded, you know what this is. Don't mess it up for Ake. And I'm about to try to put this down the right way.
Oh, wait. I got to shout Billy D. He got a membership now, too.
Where I didn't see
He said, FYI, I got my membership. Bam. I didn't see. He might have got it like before the show.
Oh, okay. We got the code for you. You can't do that. See?
So listen. Before we say another word,
yeah, please.
Laura is lonely in the Discord chat without all of the other members there.
Yes.
I need everybody. Go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to
my
Twitter,
his Twitter, any Twitter,
whichever platform you're comfortable with. You got to direct message us so I can send you the Discord chat link so you can get in there so we can talk ball 24/7. Okay, do that now.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay. So let me reset this.
Yeah.
So I said the S word with 3.
That's the reset. That's what you want to say.
3 different exclamation points.
Okay.
He said a catchphrase. Now, for the guys that saw this, the Embedded, I really love a guy. Help me. If you saw Embedded, you know where I'm going with this. But this, let me set the scene for you. They were in the interview at the combine. Okay. You know how they have all the coaches, all the scouts, all the guys in there with the laptops, and you sit down in a chair in the middle of the room and they all look at you. And so they're
real quick. It's the same. It's the same way you DM a girl. OLI. It's the same way.
Yeah,
same
thing.
Same. Yeah. You got to know that.
You be sliding in there. I know you do.
Hey, yo.
That ain't no pause. It's DMs.
Nah, bro. I get the DM.
Wait, how do you say it? How do you say it?
No.
You don't say slide in people's DMs
now because I'm a giddy.
I know, right?
No, I don't say that.
Whoa!
I don't say that.
Well then, all right.
Oh my God, there's an HR meeting in your future, there, buddy.
That's why he don't have his real name.
Hey, girl, you like these?
You like these?
Don't ever say
You're
that
disgusting. Oh my God.
Speaking of which, well, no, let me set the because he's sitting in the room with all the coaches and all that stuff, and they look, they watch film. They have him watching film. What's happening here? He says, they say, "Is this you?" Because there was a guy running to the end zone after pick 6, and they were celebrating, and he was like, "Nah, man." He's like, "Nah." They're like, "Why are you so excited?" And he's like, "Man, when I'm on the field, I want to see everybody do good." He said, "Man, when I eat, everybody got to eat." The joint on the embedded said, everybody got. They replayed it and slowed down. Everybody eats. That's why they picked him. That's the new line for Kyer Elam with the notebook. Ed Oliver with the jacket. That's the new thing, huh? Why did I have to see that part? It made me nauseous because I was like, I was grooving with this dang show. I was having a ball. And then they said that and messed my time up.
So what was the overall message that you got from Embedded? Because I'm gonna go back and watch it, but
no, it was a good show.
Yeah,
it was a good show.
Okay.
Well, I don't really want to blow it for you, but let's see. What can I say that I will say they really wanted TJ Sanders. Really wanted TJ Sanders.
That bad, huh?
Bad. To the point where if Harrison was gone, they were TJ Sanders 30th.
So it sounds like they see TJ as the Buffalo Bills version of a Jalen Carter.
I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, it's not a disrespectful thing to him, but it's just the play style, the body type is not the same. So
as Carter,
yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, he's more of a speed rush finesse guy. He's a finesse speed, and he's not big. Right now he's about 300 pounds, but he plays about 290, 295, 305 in that 15-pound range. And what they envisioned when they got him was to put him next to Ed Oliver and have a speed rush up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it almost seems like is Ed Oliver. How much longer does Ed Oliver have on his contract? Because it's like, are you trying to replace Ed? Is this the heir apparent? Are you saying we're done now?
Yeah. I mean, the dead money is insane.
Yeah.
You're not saving anything. Well, that's a pre-June.
Yeah. So I mean that I had Twitter, Facebook. I never had Insta, TikTok. I don't have TikTok. Snapchat was weird because they send you something and like you don't know what you're focusing on. By the time you figure it out, it's gone and you can't get it back. So I was like, later for this, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that embedded for TJ, and they really like Deion too. That's why they moved up. And it was funny watching McDermott when they came up on the 30th pick, and you can see he's like, ooh, it was almost like, Daddy, I want that. Because when Harrison, he's like, we got to get Max. We get Max, right? And Beane's like, hold on, we'll work on it. He said, no world where they plan on moving up even 10 slots in this draft. He said there was no chance. They never thought they weren't. It just cost too much.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, Mafia, tell me why. And this isn't the start of an argument, but why are you so sold on Sanders? What is it about him? Is it the speed? Is it the pass rush? Because I for me, he's boom or bust. He has a lot of instances where he loses track of the ball. Like he forget he on a run game, like he'll be over here somewhere and the ball's over there because he doesn't see it. He lost track. And it's gonna take a lot of work. I'm not saying he's not wanting to do it, but he's raw. He just started playing football in his junior year of high school.
Wow.
And he played in heavy rotation with what's the guy's name? Tank. I forget his last name. But he wasn't a full-time starter. It was like they played this series and they come off the series. So I think for Sanders, it was more so he's already used to rotations. He's used to not playing for a long span of time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get him in here. He's got the physical tools. He's fast. He's got the length to him. But TJ Sanders does have the length. Stronger, I don't know if he's stronger. I'll take your word on that. But I don't think he's as twitchy as Ed. I don't think he's as fast as Ed. But the only thing he did, and I said this on the show numerous times, I don't appreciate him not anticipating a slide to come to him. I don't like that. The slide's not coming to me. I need that slide.
I'm about to crash out, bro. I'm about to crash out.
For what?
And Big Papa Bill, this ain't at you. It's my frustration with the team. But this comment right here says it all, because I just looked at the numbers and this is very, very viable, right? Both either trade or just flat out cut. If it's flat out cut, the dead money is about 10 million. They save about 850,000 post June. If they trade, they save about 9.2 million. And the dead money is 9.2 million and they save 2 million. In cap savings.
Mm-hmm.
So the $84 million contract is actually not as worrisome if they do whatever they need to do post June, right? So him saying we are cutting Oliver and Knox next offseason post June 1st, they don't play up to their contracts.
Make your nose bleed.
Why does Oliver not play up to his contract? Maybe, just maybe. Because he don't have a one tech next to him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like mind blown completely. Like it is not rocket science.
But wait, before you go any further.
Yep.
Because what's going to come now is he can only play well when he has a one tech. No. He only plays three tech when there's a one tech because he has to be the one tech.
Exactly.
Next to him.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You have put him in a position where he has to play outside of his physical capabilities at an NFL level. And again, it's not to say that he can't do it for one play. We saw him do it in college, but that's college.
Right.
It's not like the NFL. Everybody's good in the NFL. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You might not be as good as your peers in the NFL, but everybody is All-American something. Everybody. So the idea that when I say we, I mean the team. This idea that the team has put him in a position where he's had to be the one tech majority of the time.
Mm-hmm. And don't look any further in the comments because your head will explode. But I will say the reason why Ed had 3 sacks is because not only not only did he not have a defensive end next to him, not only did he not have that one tech next to him, not only did he not have anybody else on the team that's rushing, no blitzes. We were the lowest blitzing percentage team in the league. It was mano a mano, and that's what they want him to do. And Papa, that's the thing. When they drafted Ed, A will tell you we were together. I lost my mind because everybody said he's Aaron Donald. No, nobody's Aaron Donald.
Right.
Nobody. You can't put anybody in Aaron Donald. I tell this story time and time and time again. When I went to a UB game, UB played against Pitt. I was there. You're tired of hearing the story, but I got to tell it again. There was this roly-poly light-skinned cat out there, and I didn't know who he was. All I knew was he was off the line before the ball even exchanged from the center to the quarterback. He was off the line before I could blink. He had counters on top of counters. He had moves on top of moves. He was fast. I've never seen anything like this. And I've seen players play. There's no Aaron Donald. When I see another Aaron Donald, I don't want to hear about John. I don't hear about nobody because I've never seen Aaron Donald. And I don't say that about most people, but this dude is different. And then when he started hitting the weights, forget about it. Because you figure before that, he was a pudgy dude. Look at him. Look at his physique before he came to the league. He was pudgy. Then at the end, when he was making, what was that cornerback that came out there with his shirt on? Hey, AD, he was humongous, you know, and it made no sense. Yeah, he's one of one. I can't. Let's try somebody else. Give me another defensive tackle because Aaron Donald is not. It's not.
Yeah. So Big Papa Bill says, so you're telling me if Oliver has poor stats this season with much more depth, it won't be on Oliver? Here's why I'm saying all of it won't be on Oliver. I'm not saying none of it won't be on Oliver, but all of it can't be on Oliver. If I were to draft for you, and Big Papa Bill, I want you to answer this, right? If I were to draft for you a power slot receiver, okay, and you know before the draft, before I even pick this player, I tell you, hey, I'm about to draft this receiver. He's a power slot guy. You're going to love him, right? I draft this guy for you. And then once we get him in the building, instead of putting him in the power slot, I put him on the outside and tell him to run go routes. Is it his fault that he's not having the production that he should have on the outside? To me, that's the equivalent of what we're talking about. If you're going to draft a 3-tech, traditionally you need, and look, I've seen several people say this. The league is moving away from this idea of the traditional 3-tech, 1-tech. At the very least, you need a guy that can take up more than just one blocker so that Ed Oliver has a one-on-one situation in which he has shown the year before he got his contract that he can be very productive in that spot. And I think somebody else said it too before DQ got hurt. He was doing great.
He was.
Well, that's what happens when you got a guy that can take up more than one blocker, a big body dude. So it's again, that's not to say that none of it is on Oliver. That's simply to say that when you're put in a position to be out of position, it's like expecting a corner to come into the combine and put up 32 reps on the bench press.
Right.
Like it's not his fault if you don't put up 32. The expectation is the issue at that point.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that's what I'm saying is people are going to look at Oliver's contract and see $84 million, and they're going to expect Aaron Donald numbers, and they're going to poo-poo on Oliver.
That's why I hated it.
Right.
That's why I hated it. And
so
yeah, I mean, they're saying it. I mean, Mark Bailey said Ed is a Marcel Darius clone. No. And this is why. I'll tell you, and it has nothing to do with your comment. I get where you're going with that because of the way their stats align, but Marcel Darius was 330 pounds, was brought in to be a game wrecker, was brought in to be a run stuffer / pass rusher. His pass rush never got there.
Yep.
And if you watch him in a run game, he was always being pushed backwards. Yeah. I had season tickets a year. It was me and my friend and me and my two friends and my one friend who, you remember Willie, he was strong for no freaking reason. He'd be like, "Yo, look at Darius. He's playing patty cake again." He kept saying it. Yo, I can't tell you what he called him, but I'll just say it's a garden tool. And the thing is, it's like, okay, if you play Madden, and that's why I wish Madden, because they got some of the physics and the dynamics, they never fixed that.
No.
Because if they did, then your 330-pound guy would always get double teamed, and your other guy would do work. Yep. Ed Oliver, as Billy D said, Colt 45, by the way, he gets doubled a lot. He's not supposed to.
Right.
And that's where Von Miller came in. That's what Javon Solomon, I hope, does what he's supposed to do. I hope. And that's why I was hoping for a bigger guy next to him. And TJ Sanders is fine. Roy, to your point, who did I want besides TJ that was still there? Alfred Collins was still there. Omar Norman Lott. I think for me, the biggest thing was the shock after all this run stuff and all this stuff about, getting stronger up front and this and third, and they don't get that one tech. That's the thing that got me. It was more of a sticker shock than anything when with regards to who they took and when. I would have been fine had they taken a speed D tackle later, because in my mind, I thought they were going for this certain thing. Now I sit back and look at it, I'm not big on TJ. Mm-hmm. So I hope Mafia is right, because he is. I don't know. TJ, for me, I have to see it. And I don't want people to, I told you so. I know Mafia, you can. You can. Mafia.
He's going to.
He will. And that's fine. I'll let you do that. But, going further, every time you say I told you so about me, I'll tell you somebody I told you so about you. Because there's a lot of misses. And I ain't wrote them all down, but I remember.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go that route. All I'm going to say is, if we're trying to make Ed Oliver better, you saw what he did with a one tech.
Mm-hmm.
Get another one. Somebody here said trade Cook for Dexter Lawrence. I don't even know how old Dexter Lawrence is. We probably can't afford him. I think that's another thing.
No, we definitely can't afford him.
That's another thing too with Cook. Beane don't want to tell you we can't afford anything he's asking for.
Right.
We can't afford nothing.
Yeah. They'll just say he's not a locker room fit.
Right. He's not a fit.
Yeah.
And it's fine. We know we all have access to spots, right? We all have access to these things.
They act like we can't see.
Right. It's not. Let me just pull this up right quick.
It has nothing to do with money, guys. Really?
According to Spot Track, right? Explain these digits. I'm missing a comma somewhere.
Well, that stuff that's reported is not really real.
You don't see that.
You're not inside the building. You don't know what's going on. They get all indignant. Like, come on, man.
He called us bitch in the body. Big Papa. You know what's funny about Zion Load? I actually was high on Zion Load coming out of Georgia. And he got picked up somewhere else and then ended up here on our practice squad. They need to figure out how to make him a one tech. Brandon Beane was a one tech. Mm-hmm. He was a smaller one tech, but as long as the guys, I remember when I played, one of the things I remember to this day, if you lose a rep, just fall down, because what happens is you take two guys with you. You create a pile. If you lose rep, you create a pile. So that's what they told us. And we need somebody. I don't need an extravagant piece next to Ed Oliver. You could have went and got CJ Woods or anybody in the later rounds that can do that thing, because at D tackle, you're expected, especially later on. I don't need you to get 10 sacks, because Ed Oliver will, if you do your job, and Rousseau would get he ain't getting 10. He'll get 8, 9 sacks if you do your job. And that's what we want, because if you get that, I would love to see a team that blitzes linebackers. I would love to see a team that sends corners. I would love to see these kind of things, but we just don't, because that's not in their will. And I don't know if it's because they don't want to do it, because you know more about Carolina than I do, but I just don't think they had a manpower, because they don't trust the coverage. You can't leave the guys on the island because they can't cover that well. Christian Benford, maybe he's good, but the safeties aren't good. Maxwell Harrison is filling a void that wasn't good last year.
Yep.
You hamstrung yourself. And somebody in the comments said, Hamlin starting and this and that. Yeah, and they tell you that, and they run it out there. And if he would have truly won the position, as opposed to beating out an injured guy that was just a curmudgeon, a diva, he was at that point, and so on and so forth. If he wins the battle, if you bring in a number one guy and you're like, yo, I can't sit him, and we see why you can't sit him. Okay, get it. I get it. But in this case, it's just like, we have this talent. We don't want to deviate. We don't want to change course and go do what we got to do to get what we got to get done.
Yeah.
They just like what they do.
Yeah.
So I got to sit and figure out how to just accept it.
Yep. Certified Genius coming in, being Gandhi to this war between points here, says that's what Deion Walker is supposed to be. The guy can take up 2 blockers.
And that in itself is another problem.
Yeah. Because
if Deion Walker is taking up 2 blockers in the 4th round, you picked another guy who's going to be
exactly, bro.
fighting Ed Oliver.
Yep. Which I mean, again, one of the things that I thought when they took Sanders is they probably see the limitations of an Ed Oliver when it comes to being able to adjust to scrambling quarterbacks. Because if you can't see over the offensive lineman, you're not going to be able to see what's coming at you. Both in the run game and in the pass game if a quarterback wants to scramble. You know what I mean? Your length, your ability to cover both gaps, it's going to be very limited at that size.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that isn't, or I should say that wouldn't be such a big issue if you had a guy like a Deion Walker taking up those two blockers, making space for Ed Oliver, right? But I wanted to address these two comments here.
Go.
The first one is Big Papa Bill said, that's how it works. If you don't play up to the value of your contract, you better expect a storm of your fans to call you out. Now you understand the value of the show.
Yeah.
Realistically, that I'm with you. And that's part of the reason why we call Sean and Beane out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not living up to the contract, you keep getting contract extensions and you're not meeting the goal, and you got all kinds of people making excuses for why you haven't achieved the goal yet. I'm sorry, at some point, excuses got to go out the window. You got to look at the contract and say, you haven't lived up to it. You got to go. That is the business. That is a business decision. I would feel for Oliver, but I got to respect it because that's the business of the NFL. That is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
To Steve's comment here, he says, just blame Beane. That was an all-time bad draft in a DT rich class. Oliver was the worst DT out of the top 5 DTs taken.
And let me tell you to refresh your memories who was in that draft.
Yes,
Quinnen
please.
Williams
I was just going to ask you.
I got you. Quinnen Williams was 3rd overall. Ed Oliver went 9th. Christian Wilkins went 13th. Dexter Lawrence went 17th.
Oh,
Jeffrey Simmons went 19th. And Jerry Tillery went 28th.
Wow. Dexter Lawrence is turning out to be an all-time talent. The man is elite in run defense and pass rush. I at his size, I've not seen it. It's rare to see a guy be as dominant in both facets. Quinnen Williams is probably the next closest thing to that, but he's a 6'3", 304 type of guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's not massive like Dexter Lawrence is. So, but yeah, I mean, look, Mark Bailey. What's going on, Mark Bailey? I don't think I've seen you in here. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. You see Mark Bailey in here?
I just talked to him. I didn't know he was fresh in.
I just talked to these people. I don't really know.
I didn't know he was fresh in. I read one of his comments and everything.
Welcome to the show, Mark Bailey. If you haven't jumped in the chat before, you definitely stepped in it now. So everybody just go ahead and welcome Mark, and please let him know in a kind way he can never back out now. He's stuck with us forever. He said it's a lot of rotating on the line. We need to get more out of the guys to know who's going to be a star.
I mean, that was actually in my notes. I wanted to talk about the defensive line just for a second.
Yeah.
To your point, you kind of stole my thunder. That's not supposed to happen on our show, but whatever. It happens. Why are we rotating so much? Why is that the goal? See, in my mind, when you look at Green Bay's their wide receiver room, you look at other teams who have a lot of talent, and that's why you rotate. You don't rotate to try to mask deficiencies.
Yep.
You rotate because I can't keep these guys off the field.
Right. I got too many guys that are too good.
Look at the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles went and drafted another one.
Yep.
And they were fine. That line won them the Super Bowl.
They sure did.
And they went and got another one. And it wasn't a low pick. It was another high pick.
Yep.
They just keep stacking. They already had the secondary. The offense just can't screw up.
Low cap hit, man.
Low
cap hit, high return.
That's it. You have to go ahead and Big Bills YouTubers basically say fans shouldn't be complaining about Beane's McD's shortcomings because they put the team in positions to win every year. Yes, and I don't watch them.
You know what you're talking about?
No.
I mean, there's so many that say
if I hear that gobbledygook, I'm turning it off. I turn it off. I can only do so much rah-rah. And I like rah-rah. See, I talked about this on one of the past shows. I like analytics. I like data. I like to see things. I like to see development.
Yep.
That's cool. I'll rah-rah over that. You know, when Josh Allen becomes Josh Allen, when James Cook becomes James Cook. Yep. Khalil Shakir finally gets his shot to do what he does. I'm all over it.
Yep.
But if we're just doing the same thing over and over again and there's no progress, there's no rah-rah. This show wouldn't exist if everybody wanted to rah-rah. It's fine to rah-rah and come in here and tell us what you, but tell me what you're rah-rahing about. Why?
Yep.
What am I missing? I'm not going to argue with everybody. I'm not going to argue with most people. That's not my dig. That's not what I do. But I need to know why is it I'm happy. That's like going outside and just jumping up and down and saying, I'm so happy. Like, why? I have no idea. I don't know. They just told me go outside and tell me to be happy.
Right. So I'm just doing
So
what I'm told.
doing what they told me to do.
Yeah.
You know, and you look crazy. You out there doing wild stuff, and they just in the house laughing at you.
Right.
And the thing, and Steve is here, and I thought about it. I had to laugh when Embedded when they started the show off with Chris Sims. He was saying he understood Beane's reaction to Jeremy and Joe, right? And he said, what you got to understand is radio stations have a lot of power, and people listen to them. He must not know GR very well. People hate GR. I don't hate GR. I listen to it all the time, but people talk about this, that, and third. This person's a hack. This person sucks. This person. That's not me. I listen to it all the time, more than I should probably. I told T yesterday what we were talking about. We were talking about her playlist when she goes to the gym, and I said I didn't think make playlists. She said I don't make them. I just find them, and it just takes me where I go. I said, oh yeah, Spotify. I said I don't need that. She said, what do you mean? I said because I'm listening to podcasts all day. She's like, that's boring. I said, I'm listening to Bill's podcast. Like when I get in the car, if I don't call my mom, Bill's podcast. When I take Ken to school, Bill's podcast. When I'm picking him up, Bill's podcast. When I'm working out, Bill's podcast. Not mine, other podcasts. I want to get other opinions. So when you guys think I'm bagging on somebody, I'm not. Maybe I am, but it's to have an honest conversation.
Yes.
If I hear something elsewhere, I'm just like everybody here, but I have a mic here. Everybody in this chat is no better than me. I'm no better than you. I just have this mic. You guys have fingers you can type, or if you don't, you can talk. I hope you have your fingers. But that's why this show was great. I don't think I'm ever going to be in a situation like right now. I sweat because all these comments come through. We can't read them.
I know. We got like 20 minutes left. I actually have to. I have to go this time.
Yeah, it ain't me, but I'm cool with that.
But yeah, so I want to get to a few of these comments here.
Yeah,
Jack says they said if Bills don't win a Super Bowl in this window, we'll survive and we should just enjoy the ride. What do y'all think of that mentality?
Yeah, no, Jack, you already know.
right. To me, this goes back to what I talked about in terms of the fan mentality of we're still just enjoying the wins right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There may be some people who are a little more enlightened, like Laura and I talked about this in the Discord chat. Laura's one of those people that goes and looks at the numbers, you know what I mean? So she can find justifications for believing that improvement is going to come and believing that's fine. If that's what you're basing your opinion off of, that's what I want. Mm-hmm. That's what this show is about. It's about people doing the research and forming their opinions based on factual evidence.
Literally the only thing you can do to make us mad and to probably get backlash is to tell us because Beane said so.
Yeah, yo, don't
McDermott
say
said
that.
So.
Don't say that in here.
That's
please.
The only thing you can do to upset us. You can tell us we're wrong in every way, but you say that.
Not that making us mad is going to ruin your life. Nothing's going to happen.
Show party. Spin will tell you about A's classic rants.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're epic, but but yeah, look, the mentality that Big Papa Bill talked about in terms of if a guy's not living up to it, then he's got to go. That's all we're saying. And that's one of the reasons why I loved that he said that, even though it was counterintuitive to my point. That is a reality. That's a fact. That's a truth. That's a reality that the NFL lives in. So he's not wrong. You know what I'm saying? So again, the foundation of this show is accountability and objectivity. I have to be objective about that. That's the truth.
So hey, can you do this for me, please? Can you just?
It's a bit of revisionist history to knock the Oliver pick because in the moment we would say we missed out on Oliver if we grabbed any of those names drafted after. So Dexter Lawrence was drafted after Oliver. Do you want to recant your statement, Walter? I'll give you an opportunity to do that. Just understanding that Dexter Lawrence was one of those guys selected after Ed Oliver. If we had selected Dexter Lawrence and then gone to see that Ed Oliver hasn't lived up to his $84 million contract so far in terms of production and numbers. I mean, his value to the team in the locker room may be great, and I would agree with that 100%. But in terms of living up to the numbers and being able to justify a contract extension or something like that, I don't think he's there. But knowing all of that, would you still be upset about it?
Yeah, I'm going on record as saying the moment they picked him, I was hot. That messed up my birthday weekend. Because you taunted me. You know the ticket you tackle said, you better the hell or not. And you're like, they're gonna do it. I said, no, they're not. And they did it. And I sat there in silence for a big minute.
Yes, you did. I punted a football in the studio here.
Oh, thinking it was
Wait, real quick. I got to shout out my man Heel Turn Merch becoming a member. I really appreciate that, bro. Go ahead.
I was watching the bet and they showed, Harrison getting his call. And he's crying and all this, that, and 30 put his hat on. Mm-hmm. And when they showed him walking out, I busted out laughing because it took me back to the draft day. When you said, no, don't touch my team's logo. Don't do it.
Oh, I was tight, bro. I was
like, yo, he can't touch the logo though.
Yeah, like somebody else in here was like, they were talking about a guy that we drafted that was supposed to be Elam. Mm-hmm. I think it was, I forgot who it was that said this earlier in the chat, but they were saying Elam should have been a 6th to 7th round pick, like in hindsight, you know what I'm saying? We should have never selected him in the first or the second round. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, Harrison is supposed to be a 2nd round pick. You got Ravel, you got the corner from Notre Dame. All these guys were rated ahead of this dude on a national level, mm-hmm. right? And here we are watching this kid because he slapped everybody else up, because he fit the locker. All these other reasons that really do not come down to his production on the field, but he gets selected ahead of all of those dudes. Like that's how I knew. I was like, yo, the Buffalo Bills are really not concerned with getting the best talent. They're concerned with getting the best locker room fit. And then, as they love to say so much, they want to take that ball of clay and mold it to their own liking. Yeah. They do not want a guy that's already solidified his own mold to come onto the team, because what that ends up doing for the coaching staff is that means the coaching staff has to work around the player. Mm-hmm. They don't want that. They want the player to work around the coach. And the NFL is a different monster. It really is. And it's currently taking the superhuman effort of a Josh Allen and the kindness and the generosity of a Josh Allen to not take a max deal and give this team as much as he can to keep them viable year after year. We've already talked about it. I think everybody can agree right now. Mitch Trubisky, with all of these defensive picks that we just got, all this depth that we have on defense, Mitch Trubisky is not taking this team to a Super Bowl. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the team around the quarterback position, if the defense itself is not good enough to get you into an AFC championship game, what are we really talking about? You're bolstering up this defense to do what when you have Josh Allen already? Yeah. Instead, and this is just my opinion, I'm gonna keep saying this until I'm blue in the face. Instead of focusing on defense as much, you can still get defensive players. You still could have drafted Deion Walker in the 4th round. Fine. Let that be the way you address the defensive line. You can take Landon Jackson in the 3rd round. Fine. Do that. Those would have been great picks if you had gotten your better corner in the 1st round, right? And then gotten a wide receiver in the 2nd round. Now you're adding a top tier weapon onto your offense to help your already elite quarterback do more in the playoffs. 30 a game ain't enough.
It was funny because Brandon Beane, I think before the 3rd day started, he went on record in an interview. I don't remember if it was McAfee or whoever it was before the draft. He said, "Yeah, I had to look out of the corners of my eyes because Brady was over there. I was going to go outside and find my current cinder blocks because he ain't drafted offensive player yet. So he ended up doing a run at the end. But I mean, it was." Embedded, I hate because like it lets you in on a personal level, and you're like, I was fired about how Beane treated the media and all that stuff, and I was fired about the cocky factor, but it lets you in and you see, okay, you're not doing the greatest yet, but at the same time, could we do worse? Absolutely could do a whole bunch of worse. And could we do better? Probably. But see, that's the thing. What people don't understand is we're not here to bash them because they're not doing a good job. We're bashing them because we're stagnant. We know you can do more. We know you know how to do more, but we're asking you to do more. We're not asking you to sit and be comfortable. We need to be comfortable with what you're doing. You need to be the one sweating to make everything work. Because Beane said it, he said it best. Yeah, whatever. Even though your member doesn't matter.
We got to give it up. The president of the Sean McDermott fan club is now a member. I appreciate you, Rich. I appreciate you, Rich.
And that's the thing. You know, we when you're doing your job, you're not comfortable. You know, they say, I love sleep. I did this. I don't care because you're supposed to. I'm a consumer. I'm watching this thing cheering for you. All the hard work should be you. All the stress should be you. That's why you get paid the big bucks, because you shouldn't last that long.
Right.
You know, your body's going to break down because you don't sleep. And McDermott, I believe it. I believe he's in the office because that's just how he is.
Yeah.
You know, and the way that to your interview when he was with Sal and Beauvais.
Oh yeah.
You know, the way he talked about the city. I believe it.
Yes,
I believe
100%.
it. He loves the dynamic, and that's why people are drawn to him. And I get it. He's not doing it to keep his job. He's doing it because that's how he's wired.
Yeah,
he's a man of faith. He's I think Christian who has gotten to the point in his life where I want to get to, where I'm saying, you know what?
That's a big part of just so everybody knows, that's a big part of the reason why he has the relationship that he has with Pegula. Like from the start, it was their faith that kind of drew them together.
Well, you know, and the thing with that is like, I want to get to the point where I'm like, oh man, let's step back and look at these flowers. Let's look at these trees. My dad does that. And I'm like, the hell with that. I got to do stuff. I got things I got to get somewhere, you know, but it comes with age, and it comes with a way of life where you sit back and you reflect. He talked about eating a hot dog and hamburger. And I'm like, I got to get there. I got to get there because I cooked yesterday, you know, for Mother's Day. And I'm sitting here like, okay, good. But I'm tired. And I gotta go to work tomorrow. I gotta do a podcast. I got the rest of the week. I got 2 jobs. This is that and third.
Yep. I
don't want to get to the point where I can't sit back and smell the roses anymore. And yesterday, I Mom would probably kill me, but we were out. We were barbecuing, and I'm throwing a football with Ken as the meat's cooking, and I hear boom. I'm like, T was sitting out there, and Ken was like, "What was that?" I said, "Just joking." I'm like, somebody must have lost a propane tank, right? So then my mom comes out, and you're again. And T's like, you know, she's nosy. Shut up, everybody. I got to hear stuff. Fire trucks. Probably about 8, 9 of them things flew by. And within a minute or two, big black smoke all in the sky.
Dang.
All in the sky, right behind my mom's house. You know, and we're like, yo, you know, you can hear them spraying the water. You can hear them doing all this stuff. And Ken's like, I'm scared. T's like, I'm scared, you know, but I'm like, you have to appreciate the moment. And that's the thing that I'm trying to learn at 41 years old. You got to appreciate the moment. Everything's not going to be perfect. Everything's not going to be great. But with the Bills, it's an escape. It's a release. That's why we talk about it. You go to anybody's been to a barbershop, you know, this is the kind of conversation that goes on. And those conversations are horrible because they have no idea what they're talking about. For the most part, they're so passionate, but they're so wrong all the time.
Yeah.
But that's I was gonna pass that to you when we first started. So we should do the barbershop, just because, you know. And it's the place where, because when we started talking about what the format was, we're gonna sit and talk. We're gonna shoot the Willy Bobo with everybody and just have a good time. And for the most part, that's what we're doing. You know, and when people say you guys are negative, no, we're not negative. It's just a different perspective. You can go anywhere else in the world and watch a Happy Bills podcast. You can go anywhere, but tell me how many podcasts you get every 2 days a week where they try to read every comment that pops up. You tell me who do you where I get my haircut is all women. I bet, Roy. See, where else can you
probably
go?
Probably by design.
You know it. He's probably been in like 3 or 4.
No,
he's been in 3 or 4 locations, but it's okay.
COLI for them D picks. That's how he got kicked out of all the stylish shops.
It's like Bowfinger. I must show it to the Laker girls. You must not show it to the Laker girls. But yeah, no, I really, whether you guys agree or not, we got 2,068 people in the comments or in the show right now, 270. Whether you agree with everything I said, everything I didn't, or you disagree with everything I said and A said, come back because we like to talk. We like the dialogue. We first started, we had Laura, Lindsay, and like 3 other people watching.
Yeah.
And we had to make a 2-hour show out of it.
We worked it out.
We had notes. We had this. Now it's like we come in, set up, and
yeah.
You know, and this is beautiful. But this is for you guys. It's always going to be for you guys.
For sure.
Always.
For sure. I did want to address this is I love this point. He says, McD said to Sal in the interview that he likes genuine people, but that can't be true if they have to fit his mold. Genuine people come from every aspect of life.
Yeah.
That is absolutely in line with what Mike Tomlin said in his appearance on I think it was the Pivot podcast that he did that on with what's the guy's name? Channing.
Oh yeah, Channing Crowder.
Yep, Channing
Ryan
Crowder.
Clark.
Yep. In that appearance, Mike Tomlin talked about the mindset of a head coach that essentially doesn't want to do the work. He's always gonna try to find guys that fit him as opposed to finding guys that he can acclimate to or that he can work with that may be different from him. Any head coach, and this is how he phrased it. He said, any head coach that tells you that the player is the problem doesn't want to do his job. A head coach should never be blaming the player for the job not getting done. And all that ultimately means is the head coach just doesn't want to coach. He doesn't want to do his job. That's a coach's job to get a guy that is doing the wrong thing and get him to do the right thing, or get him to acclimate to the locker room, or get him to acclimate to the culture of the team and the city and all that kind of stuff. We see this all around the league. Not every guy that goes to the LA Rams is cut out to be a California guy. Not every guy that goes to the Green Bay Packers is built to be a Green Bay cold weather, title town guy.
Mm-hmm.
But they go there, and there's a coach there that gets them to acclimate to the culture there and the way that they do business there. Every team deals with it. It's not just the Bills. It just so happens that the Bills have overinflated this idea of culture and camaraderie and love. And as Coach D told everybody in our post-draft show, a team needs to have that camaraderie and that love and that fellowship with their coach in order to be successful, right? Because remember, Coach D played in the NFL, so this is real life experience he's coming from. He said you need that towards the coach for a team to be successful, but that is not the end all be all of how you build your team or how you build a successful franchise. Those are two completely different things. And what we've seen this team do, and by this team, I mean Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, is they've built this thing with the mindset that culture comes first. The Patriots didn't build their culture first. They built it through players. And then they got a hold of those players. And then through all of the winning, they then developed just do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Just do your job came after 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
They had already won 2 times after that. Then the mantra came out, just do your job, right? Everything that the Bills have done to this point has been modeled after that. They want to model the 20 years of winning. They want to model the multiple Super Bowls. They wanted Listen, I reported it on our show in the first year of us doing this, and this wasn't reported anywhere else. Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane specifically, when Josh was drafted, the year after he was drafted, so this would have been 2019, they went to Josh in the offseason and they asked him to do the TB12 method. This is when Brady was still in the league. This is when Brady was still in the division.
Mm-hmm.
They asked Josh to do the TB12 method, and Josh was like, no, I'm good. At the time, I was like, ooh, is that a good idea? But seeing Josh now, I was like, all right, it worked out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, might he have been better off earlier if he had done that? Maybe. I mean, we did come at him for his golf appearance when he had the gut hanging over the belt and all that. So maybe the TB12 method could have helped him there. But all of this is to say, like, there's things that cause you to lean heavily towards this team is really trying to emulate as much of Bill Belichick's era in New England as much as possible. And unfortunately, they got it all wrong. It didn't start with culture. It ended with culture.
Right.
All of it did, because Bill Belichick thought his culture was going to be fine after Brady left. So,
yeah. And to hit Mark's point real quick, the linebacker group is a little bit of a concern. How do you guys feel about it? I've been concerned about the construct, the players that they have in it. I guess, are fine, but the construct is not to my liking. To go back to what we talked about when we were talking about C.J. Mosley. I like throwback linebackers. I like the strong guys. I like the imposing will. I love when we had Brandon Spikes. Brandon Spikes was probably my favorite linebacker at the time, because he was like a nose tackle from the linebacker position. And I thought it was revolutionary how he used him. So I in our defense, if our corners and our safeties are shut down, where they actually can where they actually can do their job without a lot of help, I would love to see a different type of linebacker. I would love to see a linebacker that would help out in the run game so we don't get gashed all the time. That drives me nuts to get gashed on the ground.
London? We got a London game? Did they announce something?
I don't know.
I
know everything is like leaks and rumors and stuff like that, but
September 4, Dallas versus Philly.
Yeah, they came out earlier today. That actually, I think Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter put that out this morning, and then it was confirmed later on in the afternoon.
What is this?
So the first game of the season is the first game to kick off the season is going to be Eagles versus Cowboys.
Okay.
So I mean, look, it's understandable. The Cowboys have improved, but Cowboys are still the number one.
It's in Philly.
Yes, the Cowboys are still the number one sports brand in sports in general. So them getting a spot like that, it's justifiable in that sense.
Can't stand your boy.
Always keep it rah. Oh my gosh!
All right, you ready to jump out the window?
Yep. Man, there's a lot of comments to get to. Some good stuff here. I apologize, we can't get to all of it, but I got a meeting at 9:00. So I do need to jump out the window. Let me get everything set here to make sure I'm not blowing people's eardrums. All right, and then put that there, and then okay, here we go.
Motivation. Had you had some motivation, you might have been able to get that nice and clean. Next time, make sure you do it with that Reese's tea.
Yes.
Why should you do it Reese's tea? Because it's 1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious, 2 parts healthy. That's what you can expect when there's only 4 ingredients. I don't even drink tea, but let me tell you, that's a good drink there. What are you doing? Head over to Reese's, get yourself a supply of the case or individual. Or you should do that. Get yourself the case. You won't be disappointed. But what do I know? See for yourself. Reese's tea. Click the link in the description below. Use the code PostPodiumPodcast to let them know who sent you.
That's right, Lynn. Reese's tea, baby. Listen. Mother's Day. It was Reese's tea in the house. We went out to Pop's house. It was Reese's tea in the building. Yeah. Oh man, it was a couple pictures of some Reese's tea out in that joint. Look, you can get Reese's tea yourself. The link for that is in the description of this video. Look, we appreciate all 2,115 people that have been watching with us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. 2,116. We're gonna keep counting, but we really do gotta go. If you have not done so already, the link, bam, right there at the bottom of the screen. Okay,
it's behind the phone. Yeah, there you
go. Move the phone out of the way. Bam, right there. So anyway, the YouTube channel is right there at the bottom of the screen. Go to it, please. If you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. But more importantly, you got to hit that bell. You got to make that thing so that you can get notifications when we send notifications. Like I am going to put into the chat right now the email for the Post Podium Podcast. And for all of you that became a member today, thank you so much for doing that. And if you would like, instead of having to slide into our DMs, you can use the email to get in contact with us as soon as and you don't have to say anything. You could just say hi. And then I will email you the link for the Discord chat so that you can be in on that. In terms of the Madden content, we wanted to wait until the new schedule release comes out, right? I've talked to everybody involved with this thing, and that's a better fit because the season that we're going to start off with is going to be the 2025 season. So we want to make sure that we get all the matchups right and get the weeks right and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll go from there. So look, at gmail.com. Okay, bam. All right, so the email is now in the chat. Make sure you go there and let us know that you are ready for the Discord chat link, and then we will see you in there. Other than that, man, look, our AO producer, He's coming out with a video game channel that he's doing, a game streaming channel that he's going to be doing. So look out for that. His name is Babyface Assassin on YouTube. Make sure you check him out. He's going to be doing all types of gameplay for those of you that like to watch video gameplay. He also has a basketball podcast that he does. It's called Basketball Truth and Knowledge. He's been steadily growing, grinding the same way we have. So make sure you go check that out too. Other than that, thank everybody for watching. We will catch you guys Friday at
5:30.
Friday at 5:30. There it is. All right. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
For the keys. See you later.
Always smooth as always.
There you go. I get the square.
You don't get the camera this time.
Camera me.
No.
Square it.
Camera me.
No.
All right, Sean. Have a good one.
Lens me.
All right.
All right, y'all have a good night. Peace.